back to the channel. One of the questions I get asked most often is, how much is one of these things? How much did you pay? How much does it cost? So instead of doing a build video right now, I'm going to show you my entire order process, how much everything costs, expected costs, unexpected costs, all that. So you can get a really good idea of how much it really does cost to build an Ultima. So check it out. All right, so it all started with an email to Ultima in early June 2019, and I think this was shortly after they showed the release of the RS. So I emailed, you can see this is my first email I ever sent to them, and I asked what the cost of an Ultima RS kit, less engine in light gray color with black wheels, shipped to Florida, United States, and then I listed the options that I wanted it to have. A couple of the carbon options, roof scoop, rear view camera, digital dash, lift, larger brakes, and then just said thanks. So Richard replied to me with a spreadsheet showing the basic kit and all the options, which you can see here, and it goes through Pack A and Pack B and then what's included in everything. You can see the chassis, it talks about the roll cage and what that's made out of, and then the aluminum sheets and all that. Then you can see the suspension system. You can then see where he marked it up and said that I was upgrading certain things. This is actually the final spreadsheet that I had. We actually went back and forth about I want to say like 50 emails where I'd add options and then remove them, and they're always very very accommodating as far as that goes. Sometimes I felt bad because I didn't know how far along they were putting together my kit, and then I asked them to remove some things. But you can see that they upgrade the suspension due to having the lift kit. And then you can see that the stock brakes, that's highlighted as being upgraded. And then you can see where I actually removed the wheels. That's in Pack B. And apparently I'm the only person that I've heard of that's removed the wheels. I know that from some other owners that they did not allow them to remove the wheels. So thanks, Richard. If you're watching this, I was able to remove the wheels. So you can see the next part says engine bay, upgrading LT exhaust. So then you get down to the options, and you can see first off though that Pack A is $27,460, Pack B is $22,156. So here are my options, and I'll start with the most expensive options, which are the exhaust and the headlights and taillights. It's kind of interesting to call them options since you pretty much need them for completion, especially the headlights and taillights. I don't know what you would do if you didn't get the stock ones, but I guess it takes into account that some of the builders will fab up their own exhaust. I'm not much of a welder, so I opted to option the exhaust. So the stock LT exhaust with optional X pipe is $8,186 from the factory. But after a phone conversation with Richard and the fact that I live in such a great state, we knocked it down to $5,640 because I don't need cats and mufflers. Next is the headlights and taillights, and those are $4,198, which when you compare them to OEM automotive lights, it's pretty comparable. Single Lamborghini Huracan headlight will cost you over $3,000 on eBay, and even a Ford F-150 OEM headlight is over $1,200. So if you multiply that by 4, you know, you're at more than what the Ultima headlights and taillights cost. And they're pretty cool. I mean, you get driving lights with them, high beams, low beams. They're really, really cool. They do their little startup sequence. Some of the must-haves for me were all the carbon fiber exterior pieces, like the wing. The rear wing was $3,908, which again, if you consider that the Dodge Viper ACR Extreme wing in exposed carbon fiber is over $10,000. So the carbon fiber front splitter is $3,473, which is an upgrade from the stock black one, which I assume is fiberglass or fiberglass reinforced plastic. I'm not sure. I've just seen pictures of it, and I know it's an identical clone of the carbon fiber one. It's just not carbon fiber. And I'm going to need to put some sort of splitter guard on the bottom of mine, though, because I can just imagine the cringe when scraping that thing going into a parking lot or something, even though I do have the lift kit. So the side splitters were $2,871, and they were a last minute option because they look really cool and I'm sure they're functional, but coughing up $3,000 for them was a little hard, but you know, I ended up doing it anyways. Also a last minute option was the carbon center section mounted mirrors for $1,370. The normal mirrors are mounted up high next to the windshield, like you can see on this Evo, and I didn't think that that would be the best for driving, and I've heard from other owners that it's definitely better to get the center section mounted mirrors like I got. So the carbon fiber side scoops are $1,392, and they really add to the look. I mean, it's right there in your face and they're huge, and they add to the function, so that was a pretty obvious one. The wheel arch vents in carbon fiber were $1,298, and I think they really complete the look of the car as well with the orange and black carbon fiber theme that I've got going on. So the carbon fiber dive planes at the front were $522, and the brake ducts mounted on the splitter were $529. Last for the carbon fiber exterior options are the wing end plates, which were $432, and the carbon rear diffuser for $1,515. So the total for the carbon fiber exterior options was $21,508. And you know, as you tick the boxes, they don't seem that expensive in on their own, but geez, when I was adding this up, I almost can't believe I spent $21,000 on carbon fiber exterior options, but here we are. So next, moving on to the interior, the upgrades are the AIM MXS Strata digital dash, which does away with all the analog gauges, and it just looks more modern. I think it's really cool. It has the shift lights, and you have all your different menus and all your information right there, and it pulls directly from the CAN data from the GM ECU. So I liked that option a lot more than the analog gauges. And all the videos that I've seen of Ultimas with analog gauges, they're bouncing around a lot, and I think the speedometer goes up to something really, really high. So you know, you really have to look closely to see how fast you're going. With the AIM, I have the GPS sensor, so it tells me how fast I'm going right there in digital format. So I think that the drivability and the information offered by the AIM dash is definitely worth it. That was $1,088, but then I optioned the wiring loom and the sender with module units. The wiring loom was $142, and the sender with module units is $695. You almost have to get that. So, you know, I guess, again, it seems like it doesn't hurt that much when all the options are broken down, but you really need to get everything if you want the AIM dash. And then the carbon fiber shroud for mounting it was $695. And again, you'd have to get that, or I guess fab up something in fiberglass or however else you wanted to mount it. I guess you can maybe mount it in the dash. So that's it for the interior. Since my car is a high horsepower build, I wanted to make sure I could stop just as well. So I optioned the AP 6-piston brakes all around, and that was $1,950, which I didn't think was too crazy considering big brake kits are really, really expensive. But I guess the 4-piston stock AP brakes are probably pretty expensive anyways. So so that was another thing that I wanted to get, and I think they look a lot better behind 19-inch wheels. So speaking of high horsepower, I'll move on to the engine costs. I modeled the engine build off of the ZR5 package that Advanced Modern Performance sells. The main differences between my engine build and theirs is mine does not have meth injection or the Innovators West 9% overdrive pulley. I only have the 2.7-inch grip tech pulley on the supercharger, but the crank pulley is stock. K-Tech took a stock LT5 engine and did numerous dyno pulls at right around the 1400 horsepower mark, and only then did it look like the engine was going to fail. They also got to that level with twin turbos, so I think my setup should still offer a bit of headroom and not push the engine to its absolute limits. AMP is running high 8-second quarter mile times at 160 miles an hour and a 3,700 pound ZR1, so my setup is going to be more than enough. And at this point, you can pause the video and make a comment about how I don't need this amount of power and that it's not practical, while completely ignoring that the entire car is probably the most impractical vehicle that I could possibly buy. So the crate engine from Chevy is roughly $18,811. The engine controller for it is another $3,825. I'm not aware of any manufacturer right now offering a plug-and-play controller for the LT5, and I think that's probably due to the direct injection and port injection complications. Anyone that knows about these engines know that the LT5 is different from the LT4 in the Z06 in that the LT5 adds port injection right near the supercharger. So there's additional controls electronically that the engine controller needs to make. So I'm assuming that that's why there's not an aftermarket solution. Yes, I could do Motec. Yes, Motec can do everything to control the LT5, but I would have to buy the Motec system and then have a custom wiring harness made. So $3,825 is, or right at, I guess, what I'm willing to spend for the engine controller. The accessory kit is $1,153, and it includes all the pulleys and tensioners, the alternator, AC compressor. So moving on to the engine mods, the crankshaft kit, springs, retainers, timing chain, etc., etc. That was $2,339. I ordered these from Weapon X, but Texas Speed and Performance fulfilled the order. Supercharger porting was $1,044, and the full port job on the heads was $963.41 with shipping done by K-Tech. Total for the engine and all the performance upgrades so far is $28,671.03, but I still need to buy the HP Tuner Suite and a Nick Williams 103mm throttle body, so probably another $1,500 in this category. Next is the drivetrain, which is a pretty short category, but the dollar amount isn't so short. The transaxle was $10,500. It's a G9750 out of a 2008 Porsche 997.1 911 Turbo. I got a WaveTrack limited slip differential for $1,245.50, and I installed it myself, though I did have to have Orbit Racing, who's local to me, set the lash, and they charged me $471.87 to do so. For the clutch, I went with the RPS triple carbon, which is $4,200, and then $98.12 for shipping. You saw me unbox that in the first video, or the first build video. So moving on to the last category, and this is really the one that's hard to factor in when initially ordering the kit, because it's just all the little stuff that you don't really know you need until you do. So I knew this was going to be a lot of money, and I knew it was going to be an all-out build, but I never thought I would have spent this much. $100 here and $100 there adds up very fast, or in this case it's, sometimes $300 here and $1,000 there. So looking at the priciest items in this category, we can see the Recaro podium seats, and those were $5,530.68. I ordered these in July and they're still not here, which I believe is because of COVID, but I've been given news that they will be shipping soon, but I don't know if that's the case, and I don't want to do anything other than those seats. So I'm honestly just going to wait and build the entire car until I get those seats, whether it takes me, months into next year. So those are what I want. and that's what I'm going to wait for. So next are the wheels. Those are custom made for me by BC Forged. I had planned on ordering them all along, but a guy named James from a company called Wheel Lab messaged me on my Instagram that I have set up for this car, and I received a small discount, so I went through them. It was really nice. You just provide them all the measurements, and they say, okay, in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they'll be done. And I think it was like 5 weeks to the day they arrived, and they turned out very nice. They're a monoblock aluminum wheel, so you can tell they CNC machine them out of a solid block of aluminum for a great price considering the price of custom wheels these days. Last for the high dollar items is the fuel system, which I ordered directly through Aeromotive. I got the trifecta kit, which has triple Walbro 450 pumps, and it'll be more than enough for my engine running E85. Along with the Phantom kit, I got their jet siphon kit, some fittings, and their baffle kit with check valves. I'm still waiting on it, and this single thing is why I haven't posted a build video recently, but when it arrives, I'll install it and explain the system, as well as the additional electronics needed to stage the pumps. Other items in this group are the dry sump system from Peterson Fluid Systems, the tilt and pedal assembly you've all seen in previous videos, along with the master cylinders, and then after that it's all kinds of adapters, hoses, fittings, heat shields, and on and on. So that pretty much covers the total costs, and as of right now, I'm at $165,695.06 on the actual car and all the parts needed for completion. At the time of registration, I'll have to pay certain taxes on top of the import fees I already paid for the car when it was delivered, so I'm not done yet paying for this thing. This is obviously a pretty high-end build, and I could have saved a substantial amount by foregoing a lot of the options and the LT5 engine. Ultima says on their site that one could be built for the cost of a mundane BMW M3, and that may be possible using an LS engine and a less expensive transaxle and no carbon options. At around $170,000, there's obviously a huge amount of awesome cars that could be had at this price point, but I don't know of any that will give this level of performance with this exotic of a look and that's this rare. So I'll have to drive this thing and complete it, and then I'll make a video of, my thoughts and is it worth the $170,000 plus that I paid. So thanks for watching, and as always, please leave your comments down below, and I hope to have another build video shortly. Thanks.